What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about the War Horseman Scourge, Red Hulk. He is coming. We know we are getting a new war team with Red Hulk and the Gamma team. We're getting Abomination Amadeus Cho, aka Brawn, along with reworks to both She-Hulk and Hulk, and also we'll be getting Red Hulk. And this looks like it's going to be an Apex war team, so if you're big on Alliance War, this is going to be one you really want. If you do want Apocalypse, of course, you will need this team anyways. It's going to be interesting to see how people go for this team, but we have all three teams revealed for who we will need to use for the Scourge event, and it's a doozy. I think we're a little spoiled after the Young Avengers use for the Famine event with Rogue, because Young Avengers is a very good general team. We're not really getting that here. We have three war teams with Ravagers, Wave 1 Avengers, and Hero as Guardians, and all three are really reliant on war bonuses for a lot of their stuff right now. So this is gonna be a tricky one, and you know, it's probably gonna be on the level of what we had with the first one with using Dark Hunters and Web Warriors for that Scourge event, because neither one of those teams were really cut out for a general team like Young Avengers was. So this one's gonna be rough. So we're gonna basically talk about this today and kind of go over the idea of like some different teams you guys can be putting together, combine some different teams, and what to keep an eye out for with this next patch, and what, like, the stats, what to be keeping an eye out for with the different characters and their reworks, and how things are really going to synergize well with each other. So we're going to break that down in today's video. If you guys do enjoy finding it helpful or informative, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Let's dive right into it. So let's start by talking about Hero as Guardians. So Hero as Guardians, they're a good war defense team, but if you take them off war defense, you're losing a lot. Number one, Sif, outside of war defense, really loses a lot of power with her passive. Number one, no immunity on spawn, no taunt when someone falls below 50% health, and no applying offense up for 2 turns to that character if they fall below 50% health. So she's not going to have the auto taunt when someone falls low on health. You're not going to get that outside of war defense. Also, Valkyrie's pretty good, but the problem is that her war defense passive, you know, when a hero as Guardian dies on the team, they heal up, they get a bunch of bonus buffs with it. But outside of war defense, it's a 50% chance for this to happen. So you're gonna be running into layers of RNG where, depending on how you're using your Hero as Guardian team, if you don't have a lot of heals and buffs with her passive triggering here, this could be somewhere you have to restart. This is very frustrating. And then you have Heimdall, where Heimdall on his passive, outside of war, he is not applying defense up for 2 turns. He's not applying death proof and speed up for 2 turns. You know, he's also not generating the ability energy outside of war. So you're losing a lot of power with those 3 characters alone. This is where Thor, and in my opinion, Mighty Thor kind of shine quite a bit, because Mighty Thor has the Wave 1 Avengers synergy here, where he is able to use, like, gets a bunch of bonus damage with Wave 1 Avenger allies, and then he's filling the speed bar when Wave 1 Avenger allies take damage. He's gaining charge, he's attacking, removing charge, gaining ability energy, and then he's getting the stun here with Lightning Storm. He's going to have a pretty good damage stat now, especially with the rework, so he's going to be pretty powerful. And Mighty Thor also at the same time, in war, like, she's able to apply a trauma and ignores defense up. Outside of war, she doesn't do that. She doesn't really ignore defense up outside of war. That's fine. She's got a lot of bonus piercing damage, or just a bunch of piercing damage with her attacks overall. You know, you're not getting the max health. You're not getting the resistance against heal block, but that's better than, say, like, no auto taunt, no ability energy generation. You're still getting the flipping positive effects and the negative effects with her ultimate here. You are getting the clearing positive effects with her basic here, and on her bonus ISO attacks, you're also clearing positive effects as well. So I'm probably going to be running Striker on Mighty Thor when everything's said and done here. Still kind of working my way through the ISO for the Hero as Guardian team. So, you know, Mighty Thor and regular Thor are both pretty good Hero as Guardian characters. And then you get over here to Wave 1 Avengers. And this is one that's going to be very interesting. They got a rework about 2 years ago when the Avengers game first came out. About that same time, we got a Wave 1 Avengers rework. Very T4 dependent on this team, but of these characters, 3 of the weakest characters, you could say, well, no, Thor is pretty good, but 2 really, really not good characters are finally getting reworks in Iron Man and Hulk Iron Man's kit looks bonkers, getting a bunch of new damage stats with him. Number 10 in the damage rankings once everything goes through with the reworks. His ultimate deals a ton of damage. He's applying defense down with his basic. His AoE abilities hit a bit harder because of that damage buff to his stats. Hulk, we don't know what his rework is yet, but he is a protector, so I can imagine that whatever we're getting here with Hulk, it's going to kind of improve his performance as a tank, make him beefier, make him more resistant to negative effects or something like that. I think he's going to be a pretty hefty tank, and I am excited to see what we're going to get with him with the Gamma team. But between Hulk, Iron Man, and Thor, that's 3 recent reworks to this team, and now with Hulk taunting, and probably going to be keeping that taunt on for a while. Thor's going to retaliate a lot with that. But also Black Widow. Black Widow got a rework about 1.5 years ago, I think, with Skilletary. Gosh, has it been 1.5 years with Skilletary? It feels like it's been a while since we got the Skilletary rework. Maybe a year. My timing could be off with that one, but you know, she does bring a nice cleanse to the team here with her special, clearing negative effects from Avenger and skill military allies. Don't really need to worry about that, but you know, she's got very good speed here with her passive. She's applying speed up to Shield and Avenger allies, Skilletary allies, but those Avengers, those are going to get speed up. 60% chance to apply speed up to all other allies as well. So you could use something similar. You could use something like Hulk, Iron Man, Black Widow, Thor, and then bring in Mighty Thor at the same time. And that would get you a pretty solid starting team. Some very powerful stats on 4 of those 5 characters. Black Widow is getting stealth. She's also going to be able to copy and clear positive effects from enemies with her basic. So between Black Widow and Mighty Thor, you're getting a lot of clearing of the enemy team. So a lot of dispelling of taunts and things like that. If you get a bunch of taunts on the enemy team or death proofs, you can use Black Widow and Thor and Mighty Thor to kind of clear those. So there is some interesting synergy between those 2 teams. But if you're talking just a Hero Asgardian team, I don't know about this one. And like I said before, Heimdall, Sif, and Valkyrie lose out a lot of power on the ward defense, outside of ward defense. But if you need a sacrifice team, I can see the appeal here, because you have Valkyrie who can be constantly healing them back up, and this is where you're going to be doing a lot of RNG and restarting, where you have this powerful Hero Asgardian team, but as they start losing members, Valkyrie heals them back up. And then you know, she's kind of keeping that team going. They get those bonus positive effects, the defense up, the safeguard, the immunity, all that stuff. They get that back up, and you're keeping the team going for a little bit longer. But that leaves the problem where suddenly you're taking Thor out of the Wave 1 Avengers team, and I just don't know. They do get a lot of healing on turn, but they are dreadfully slow. And this is where maybe you bring in Black Widow to kind of speed them up. You take someone off the Hero Asgardian team. Maybe you take Heimdall off, and then you bring in Black Widow. You get the speed up on the team, and maybe that's a bit better. I don't know, but Hero Asgardians, I could see their potential as a sacrifice team. I think this is one that could be interesting. We'll have to see how things pan out with this rework to Hulk. But I think our best bet is going to be a merge of Asgardian and Wave 1 Avengers together to get one solid team. And then we get to the other team, Ravagers. Now, yeah, I mean, I'm excited for this. A lot of people are not. You can probably figure out why I'm excited to see Ravagers be used in a Scourge team. But this is going to be rough. You know, a lot of people didn't build up this team, which is understandable. Like, they were a mid-tier war team when they popped out. When they got their rework and everything, and they've kind of fallen off since then, because we have these new war offense teams. Ravagers have lost a lot of power. They've just been power creepers. This is kind of crazy, because it's been, what, 6 months since they got their rework, and now they've already been pushed out because of the power creep. Just a lot of war defense teams that they just can't counter anymore. So they're more of a cleanup team these days. But if you did take the time to build up at least T'Challa and Ravager Stitcher for DD5, like I did, you've probably got a somewhat solid team here, and I could see the potential for a sack team. Though, if you did really build them up, you've got potentially a pretty strong team on your hand here. They do have a lot of war bonuses here. Like Yondu, you know, he gets a lot of bonus focus and war for each Ravager ally, and that allows him to clear and steal positive effects off the enemy team. But T'Challa T'Challa is a bit better on his own without the war bonuses. Like on war offense, 25% bonus max health for him and Ravager allies. That's not too bad. The one that really hurts outside of war is the assist with Ravager Boomer. It's only a 50% chance for Ravager allies outside of war. That's rough, and that's going to be a lot of RNG. But you do get the speed bar reduction. You do get the summon with Yondu, so you have 2 Ravager Boomers on your team, which are going to be reducing a lot of speed bar. They're gaining speed bar at the same time. You do have Ravager Bruiser, who can steal and who can copy and flip positive effects from the primary target. On war offense, it's all positive effects, but still copy 3 positive effects except for stealth from the primary target. Very short cooldown on this, and constantly applying defense up to self and Ravager allies for 2 turns. So Bruiser does have some decent stuff in his kit, where, you know, in war, yeah, they don't rely on war as much as Hero as Guardians, and that's why I'm a little bit warmer on Ravagers versus Hero as Guardians as a secondary team for your for this War Scourge. But if you're looking from a war perspective, Hero as Guardians are a better team to invest in at this point over your Ravagers, and it's rough. It's a dilemma, but for me, because I have an unhealthy obsession with these Ravagers, and because I really loved building them up, I'm gonna use them. And yeah, this team, like we've talked about Ravager Stitcher. If you haven't seen my videos on Ravager Stitcher, just look up Ravager Stitcher and Doom, and yeah, you'll be surprised. But like this team overall, I think is gonna perform better in the Scourge versus Hero as Guardians, but in the long term, you're better off investing in Hero as Guardians over Ravagers. So if you got built up Ravagers already for one of those crazy people who did it, you've probably set as your secondary team, and then basically combined Wave 1 Avengers with Thor and Mighty Thor, or something similar to that. That's probably going to be your best bet if you have Ravagers built up. If you don't, you're probably better off going with Wave 1 Avengers and a Hero as Guardian team and hoping for the best. But I want to hear from you guys. I'm sure plenty of people are unhappy with the required teams for this. I know a lot of people are upset, especially considering we got spoiled with Young Avengers last time. Yeah, this is going to be rough. Let me know what you guys think down below. Tell me what you guys are building up for this War Scourge, if you guys are even going to really try to pursue it with these teams. Let me know what you guys think down below. As always, if you guys have enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like button, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys next time.